everybody, Willow here. I've never made a video like this before. Never made a video before. But I felt the need to address people face to face because I had a bit of an experience this morning while I was at work, and I felt like it would be better if I was able to address people face to face, unscripted, and just talk about it because it hit surprisingly hard. What ended up happening is, for those of you who don't know, I work at a welcome center. It's basically a glorified rest stop off the highway. And I work overnights there. I clean, I maintain the halls, bathrooms, etc. And I had an experience yesterday, or this morning rather, where I was cleaning the men's room. I thought everyone had left, and we have this power washer. It's a big pressure washer, and I accidentally soaked the feet of a man that I missed in one of the stalls, and he flew off the handle. He was screaming at me and cussing. Well, what ended up happening is I apologized, I turned off all the equipment, I left, I waited for him to finish up so I could go and do my job. Well, as he left, I stepped out of the closet where I was waiting, and he started accusing me of, like, peering at him and basically being a pervert. That was a big red flag for me. I had a feeling that things were going to go south pretty quick. But I maintained my cool, and I tried to explain to him that it was an honest accident. Then he demanded to know my name, which that's another red flag. I have my name tag on, so he should have known. And I told him, my name is Willow. And then he demanded to know, what is your given name? And that's when I knew for sure that everything was just going to go downhill from there. This guy was looking for a fight. So I still managed to maintain my temper, and I told him there is absolutely no reason to be acting this way and treating me like that. I've done nothing to deserve this. He demanded to know the name of my manager. I gave him her name. He did not listen to me. He did not believe me, or whatever reason he was not happy with it. So he went into the general store. We have a general store in the Welcome Center. Went to the clerk and asked for his manager, his name, his number. And as he was leaving, he walked past me, and I heard him mumble under his breath, calling me and I quote, fucking freak. And I expect some hostility like that. You know, as a trans woman, I expect to experience that every now and again. But even expecting it and knowing that it's going to come, it doesn't really take the sting out of it as much as you would expect. And it really got to me. I was really upset. I was worried that he would call a manager and that they would take him seriously. But I ended up talking to the cashier, texting my managers, letting them know what was going on. I think what really got to me, though, was like the aftermath of that. Because for about an hour and a half, 2 hours after that, his words really impacted me in a way that I was not expecting. Like, I'm an incredibly confident person normally. You can ask anyone, like, ever since I was open about my identity, I exude this sort of confidence and color around people that people really tend to appreciate, you know? So, and I get compliments all the time from not just my coworkers, friends, and family, but just random people will come up to me and they'll say things, oh, like, oh my God, I wish I had your legs, or oh, where do you get all your clothes? How do you get your makeup like that? Stuff like that. And no joke, the other day I was at a restaurant and the waitress actually called me hot stuff. So, so I know that there's nothing wrong with me personally. But even though I know that, logically, I know that, it like really impacted me, and I was still convincing myself that there was something wrong with me. And for like I said, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, I could not look at myself in the mirror. Every time I passed by my reflection, I just broke down and started crying. I was convincing myself that I was something hideous and repulsive, that there was something wrong with me, it's just really frustrating and honestly a bit terrifying when you think about it, that you can be aware that you're acting irrational and that all these feelings that you're having, these thoughts, are not your own, and yet you can be so helpless to stop it. You can't stop these thoughts on your own, no matter how you try to talk yourself down. And but ultimately what did end up setting me straight was going back to the cashier and like just telling him how I was feeling, what was going on, and basically just having that other person to talk me through meant the world. You know, and he basically confirmed everything that I was trying to convince myself. It's like, he had an axe to grind. He was just being a jerk. Don't take anything he says seriously. And like all my other coworkers, both managers involved, the store manager and my manager, were like, yeah, he was acting completely unreasonable. We're probably not going to ever hear from him. He's probably one of those customers where he just wants to complain for the sake of complaining. And if he does, we're not going to take him seriously at all, because it's obvious that he had some sort of issue with you personally. I guess the reason I want to make this video, though, like the point I'm trying to get at, is that it really does make a difference to have someone to talk to have someone listening to you. Like, you wouldn't think that it makes that much of a difference. You'd think you'd be able to talk yourself down, but sometimes you really do need that second voice to really convince you. So I guess what I want to say is that I want to encourage people, if someone comes to you with a problem, no matter how big or small you may personally think it is, give them an ear, you know? Don't just brush it off, you know, because all they really want to do, they don't expect, 9 times out of 10, they don't expect you to have an answer. They just want to be reassured that they're okay. I will tell you the words that every person who has ever experienced any sort of emotional trauma or discomfort of any kind, all they want to hear, simple phrase, there's nothing wrong with you. That's it. There's nothing wrong with you. 5 words. 5 magic words. That's all they need. 9 times out of 10. Maybe not those exact words in that exact form, but that's all they want to know. And as for people who have been where I was then, where I am now, because I'm still a little shaken up by it, I'm not going to lie, it's still eating away at me. I may sound relatively collected, but it still bugs the hell out of me. I want to say to you that you should not feel ashamed to have to go and talk to somebody about stuff like this. Because for 34 years, I was honestly afraid to talk to people about any problem I had. I was basically conditioned to think that I had to internalize all my problems and sort them out myself, because if I didn't, it somehow made me a weaker person. And that's not the case. We live in a society, and a society is supposed to be, it is a collective of individuals that have formed a mutualistic bond together. We're supposed to be there to help each other. So, yeah, don't be afraid to go and talk to somebody, no matter how big or small you think the issue may be. If it's bothering you that much, talk to someone. Talk to a friend or a family member, co-workers. If you're a religious person, go talk to whatever religious head you have. If you're desperate enough, just pull someone over, some stranger aside, and say, hey, can I ask you for a little assistance? I just need you to hear me out for a second. Or, tell you what, because I know how this feels, and because I'm making this video specifically for people like that, come talk to me, okay? I honestly want to lend an ear. I want to be there to help. I may not have the answer that you're looking for. In fact, 9 times out of 10, my answer is probably going to be a rocks glass with ice, melon liqueur, and absinthe, which is terrible advice. Don't take that seriously at all. But no, I know what it's like to feel like you can't talk to somebody, and I would not wish that sort of discomfort on any human being at all. I know, because I've been there, I know how difficult it is. I know that pain of feeling alone and helpless. So, yeah, if you really can't talk to anyone else, I offer myself, okay? And I think that's it. I think that's everything I needed to get off my chest. Like, lend an ear, offer a voice, you know, be there for people, you know? I'm going to go to my favorite sub shop. I'm going to go get a sandwich, head home with it, probably wash it down with a glass or 2 of pink Moscato to help me go to sleep. And I'm going to get through this. And I hope all of you who are going through similar problems, maybe not the exact same problem as me, but still feeling that sort of anxiety, that sort of helplessness, I hope you get through it too. And again, you know, don't be afraid to talk to somebody at all. So, that being said, to all the beautiful people out there that are watching this video, stay strong, stay gorgeous, and I honestly love you all. Bye.